Beneath the surface of the everyday lies a hidden symphony. Today, we reveal the masterpiece within. Welcome to Little Stork Corner. This is a comprehensive and detailed presentation of the female reproductive system, the intricate architecture of the human body, from the cellular geometry of the womb to the complex hormonal signals that govern life. Our mission is to bridge the gap between rigorous medical science and beautiful, hyper-realistic visualization. The female reproductive system is a biological masterpiece of communication and form. We begin with the uterus, a muscular powerhouse capable of incredible expansion. Its walls are composed of the Parimetrium, the Myometrium, and the dynamic endometrium. The fallopian tubes serve as the delicate corridors for the journey of life. At their ends are the fimbriae, finger-like projections that sweep the peritoneal cavity. The ovaries, the primary sex glands, house the body's entire supply of genetic potential. Within these glands, oogenesis, the creation and maturation of eggs, takes place. Connecting the uterus to the outside world is the cervix, the gatekeeper of the system. The cervical canal changes its physical state daily based on hormonal commands. Protecting the entrance is the vagina, a muscular canal with a unique acidic environment. This environment is maintained by beneficial bacteria, primarily lactobacillus. These bacteria produce lactic acid, keeping the pH between 3.8 and 4.5. Supporting all these organs is the pelvic floor, a hammock of resilient muscle. These muscles must be both strong for support and flexible for childbirth. Above the tubes, the broad ligament provides the primary physical suspension. Blood is supplied via the uterine and ovarian arteries, ensuring constant oxygenation. These vessels are uniquely spiral-shaped to allow for rapid expansion during pregnancy. The nerves, including the vagus and pelvic nerves, provide the brain-body link. This nervous system connection allows the brain to monitor physiological stress. Together, these structures form a perfectly integrated unit of biological engineering. The system is governed by the HPO axis, a constant conversation between brain and body. The hypothalamus acts as the executive, pulsing GnRH to start the cycle. The pituitary gland receives these pulses and releases FSH into the bloodstream. FSH, or follicle-stimulating hormone, is the signal for eggs to begin maturing. Multiple follicles respond, but usually only one becomes the dominant follicle. As this follicle grows, its cells begin to secrete estrogen. Estrogen is the builder, telling the uterus to prepare for a possible arrival. High estrogen levels send negative feedback to the brain to slow down FSH. Within 36 hours of the LH surge, the follicle ruptures, releasing the egg. The empty follicle does not die, it transforms into the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum now begins to pump out a new hormone, progesterone. Progesterone stabilizes the system, shifting it from growth to maintenance. It tells the brain to shut down FSH and LH entirely to protect the potential pregnancy. If no fertilization occurs, the corpus luteum eventually begins to wither. The drop in progesterone acts as a trigger for the end of the cycle. This chemical crash is the signal for the system to reset and start again. As progesterone crashes, the spiral arteries constrict, cutting off blood to the functional layer. This causes the endometrial tissue to break down and shed, the process we know as menstruation. Once the reset is complete, the proliferative phase begins, driven entirely by rising estrogen. New blood vessels climb toward the surface like vines, seeking to nourish future life. Inside the fallopian tube, the egg moves via peristaltic waves and ciliary action. If sperm are present, they must penetrate the corona radiata and the zona pellucida. Upon entry, the egg instantly hardens its shell to prevent polyspermy. The immune system now performs a miracle of tolerance, choosing not to attack this foreign entity. The zygote begins to divide, becoming a blastocyst as it travels toward the uterus. As the decades pass, the ovarian reserve begins its natural, gradual decline. We enter perimenopause, a bridge between the reproductive years and the next stage. The brain, sensing fewer eggs, begins to flood the system with higher levels of FSH. This hormonal surge is the body's attempt to jumpstart a slowing cycle. Because the ovaries respond less predictably, estrogen levels begin to swing wildly. These spikes and crashes can lead to the classic symptoms of this transition. One common result is the vasomotor symptom, more commonly known as a hot flash. Simultaneously, the periods themselves become irregular in both timing and flow. This phase can last for several years as the body adjusts to a new chemical reality. Throughout this time, the number of viable follicles continues to drop toward zero. Eventually, the final egg is released and the production of progesterone halts. Without progesterone to stabilize it, the cycle can no longer sustain itself. Menopause is officially diagnosed after 12 consecutive months without a period. At this point, the ovaries have effectively retired from their reproductive duties. The HPO axis, that conversation with the brain, now reaches a permanent baseline. Estrogen levels drop significantly, which affects more than just the reproductive organs. Collagen production slows, and the mucosal tissues become thinner and less wet. However, the system is not broken. It has simply shifted its biological focus. The adrenal glands and adipose tissue now become the primary sources of estrogen. This new stage of life brings a period of biological stability and rest. It is a time when the body no longer expends massive energy on a monthly cycle. Beyond reproduction, estrogen plays a vital role in maintaining bone density. When levels drop, the rate of bone remodeling changes, requiring more nutritional support. The cardiovascular system also feels the shift, as estrogen helps keep blood vessels flexible. This is why cardiovascular health becomes a primary focus in the post-menopausal years. The brain remains the conductor, adjusting to a life without the monthly hormonal spikes. Cognitive health and sleep patterns are often recalibrated during this new biological era. This transition is not an end, but an evolution of the body's internal management. Every stage of this system, from menarche to menopause, is a testament to human resilience. We now look at the system as a whole, an integrated, self-healing, and protective network. The immune system continues its tireless work, guarding the mucosal barriers against infection. Beneficial bacteria, like lactobacillus, remain the frontline defenders of the vaginal microbiome. Maintaining this delicate pH balance is a lifelong requirement for reproductive wellness. Physical movement and pelvic floor strength continue to drive blood flow to these vital organs. Circulation is the river that delivers nutrients and removes cellular waste from the tissue. As we conclude, remember that knowledge of your own anatomy is your greatest health tool. The hidden symphony is a dance of chemistry, physics, and biology that never truly stops. It is a system designed for the continuation of life and the preservation of the individual. Whether you are navigating your first cycle, your childbearing years, or the transition beyond, your body is constantly communicating. All you have to do is learn to listen. Every microridge, every capillary, and every hormone pulse has a vital purpose. This medical presentation was designed to reveal the complexity hidden beneath the surface. This symphony does not play in a vacuum. It is deeply influenced by our daily environment. Sleep is the system's primary repair mode, where melatonin protects developing follicles from stress. Nutrition provides the raw materials. Healthy fats are the literal building blocks of our hormones. However, chronic stress can act as a silent disruptor, overriding the brain's hormonal commands. When the body senses danger, it prioritizes survival, often pausing the reproductive cycle. By supporting these pillars, we maintain the harmony of this incredible biological masterpiece. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the female reproductive system. For more in-depth medical animations and educational content, subscribe to our channel. We believe that education is the foundation of empowered health decisions. Join the conversation in the comments and let us know what part of the system surprised you most. Until next time, stay curious and stay healthy. This has been a production of Little Stork Corner.